Good Sunday morning. We fired this thing a couple of days ago, let it set for, till it got down to fairly cool. Because as Paul Geil pointed out to me one time, you open an electric kiln, it's a little different than opening a gas kiln at 800 degrees, because actually you can kind of shock a surface off of an element by opening it too cold. I mean, of course, an element gets hot when it's heating. But this is the last electric fire. We did a lot of tests. Amy and I kind of got around and just said, to hell with it, let's test everything we've got and over each other. We got some nice glazes, I hope. We're going to open it. It's now 112 degrees. Now, if that isn't cool enough,
all right,
I don't know.
So on the Geil electric kiln, we decided to have a Bartlett controller, but there's also an option for a Genesis controller,
right,
if you would prefer that. And that would be maybe a more modern controller.
Right, no, this is probably as modern. I mean, the Bartlett's fine.
Yeah.
Bartlett's almost on everything.
Yep. So we've dialed in, with help from Paul, we've
right,
dialed in a fabulous program that gets us to a perfect cone 10 in
yeah,
the electric. So we'll share that with you guys. You decide to buy this kiln. We'll share a bunch of stuff with you to help you with firing. Yep.
And we want to help people with electric kilns, because really we're, this is a long time ago. I mean, almost 60 years ago, I fired electric kilns. They didn't have gas kilns. So, I was used to the whole thing, and then we went into reduction.
But they fired to cone 10 back in the day, right?
Cone 10 that's where you want to go.
Well, a lot of production wear is still cone 10 electric.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you know toilets, bathtubs, everything else is
Oh,
fired
that's right.
to cone 10
And
colder?
electric. Yep.
Electric.
Let's see inside. Let's see inside the kiln, Tom.
I'm gonna open. Yeah, I'm gonna open this thing. We really haven't looked in.
Okay.
If you see a kiln opened up and it has price tags on the pots, they've looked in.
And probably arranged it.
Oh no.
All right.
Okay,
so real quick, one of the things that we like about this kiln is that when you have the door open, right, then there's a button down low
right here
that's not engaged.
This
so
in
it's
charge.
a safety feature.
This connects to a button inside here.
Yep.
When it's closed, so when that thing gets opened, or anyone opens it when it's hot, it shuts off.
It shuts the
immediately.
kiln off.
Yeah.
So, all right.
It blows a snow cone in on it. But no. Hey, here's one thing that everyone kind of tells me. If you have any thermal shocking problems with porcelains that are really tight, and you get a glaze that's really tight,
yep,
just reach in, and if you can grab something off the top shelf and hold on to it, without going,
then it's cool
then it's
enough.
okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Let's see, Tom. All right. Woohoo. Oh, open that door more, Tom, so we can get some more light. All right. Nice.
Oh my God, Amy.
Yeah, buddy.
Look at some of these.
Okay, let's zoom in.
Look at these.
Oh,
We're getting
boy.
a gold now that's gorgeous.
Let's go from the top.
Wow, look at that.
Okay.
Oh, this looks like a rose cabot
Yeah,
glaze.
exactly.
And the blue too,
Turquoise
sort of like a
cabot.
Tashiko.
Yep. Tashiko blue.
Wow.
Turquoise cabot glaze. Those are nice sculptural matte glazes. Love
And
it.
we
This
put
is-
the cone tin here.
Yep.
And here's from previous firing, so that is throughout the whole kiln.
Yep. Cone
But we
10
just
is about
put
the
one
same
because
curve. Yep.
I'm cheap on cone tins.
That's okay. So this one is a steel blue crystal glaze.
Wow.
Loving it.
That's gorgeous.
So that's showing that glaze a little bit thick. So the thicker it gets, the more crystals are happening on it. And if I were to dip it just a little bit thinner, it would have a little bit more spaced out crystal base, which we're going to have examples of all of this at NCCA in Salt Lake City this next week, you guys. We're
Just
excited.
come by the Geil booth and the Amy Klein booth.
Yep.
We have a lot of samples of cone 10 electric fire, which is, honest to God, it's the way people are going. They finally realized that it should sound like that and not like that.
Right.
Right?
Right, exactly. It has to have a beautiful ring to
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I mean, and it's all porcelain in here, but we do have stoneware.
Yep.
And there's some damn nice stoneware. I mean, this is really dark
Let's see
stoneware.
that, Tom.
But
Oh
there's
yeah,
some
we went with
beauties.
Dark Star.
Yeah.
Because we just wanted to see the glazes on
It's
the
the darkest one
body.
without being black.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you have names for all these, right?
Yeah, so let's start from the top. So I've got
Okay.
steel blue, crystal glaze. We've got the Cabot turquoise, which is a sculptural glaze. I've got a few lighter ones in the back.
Are they like the base?
Yeah, it's
the back?
basically the base, and you can spray any color into the base and,
Oh.
and change the crystals and stuff, so it's nice. This was an interesting one, Tom, back here. He had taken a Shino and dipped it in Sperry Crack.
Yeah, that was just ugly
Yeah.
in reduction.
Yeah, and he refired it in the Cone 10 electric. Yeah.
You know, it's amazing what you can do by crossing over.
Yeah,
Like sometimes you can fire an oxidation, so I can put it in the reduction kiln,
yeah.
and it turns out nice. But it's like night and day sometimes.
So this glaze right here, I'm going to show it on this pot
one?
down here. That's called Water Lily. We just love this.
Wow.
That's really pretty beautiful. You know, that shift that happens
Yeah.
from the
Can I
lip.
reach it?
Yeah, and then how it did a gradient.
Oh, look at
Kind
this.
of blooms in
It
the
just,
glaze.
and this doesn't have to be fired like a crystalline
Nope,
glaze
that's right.
because you're not having it all run off the bottom. But
Yep.
you can see how this is shifted from the top and giving you this hair's fur.
Yep.
That's beautiful.
It's all of these crystals, you guys, are just happening just by basically setting it on a program that takes it slowly and nicely up to Cone 10. The nice thing too about this kiln is that it has the fan, so it's taking
yeah.
moisture out during part of the firing, which is fabulous. This glaze right here is our rust crystal glaze, and Tom decided to put it over a red color slip.
Oh, wow.
Outstanding.
Yeah, that's a
Oh
beauty.
my God! Wow.
Huh.
That's like the gem out of the
Well,
kiln.
it looks like a reduction. It looks
Wait,
like
stay
a.
right there for a second. Let's see underneath it, Tom. Just.
It looks like an Alfred reduction
Oh, it does.
glaze. Actually, it's pretty
Yep.
cool.
Nice.
Wow.
Okay.
This was an accident. We didn't know what was
we had
going to
no
happen.
idea. These were
You
all
know-
tests. Yep.
If
I-
everything. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I also did some refires in here too. But there's the rust again. The
Oh,
rust
yeah.
crystal glaze on a mug. Fabulous, Tom. Okay. And then we've got, this is like a lapis, you know, where lapis is sort of a deeper blue color. And then we've got a turquoise crystal glaze. So we've got a pretty good arrangement of glazes at this point. This one's interesting. We just wanted to see what a refire of a copper red would do. And electric Cone 10.
Yeah.
Yep. So, you know, Tom and I, we always try to have at least, oh gosh, what, Tom, maybe a quarter of the kiln has tests
yeah.
in it. Yep, every time. You know, you really, of course, you have to have pots that you know are going to make it, right? Glazes that you understand on a clay body that you're familiar with and all of that, so that you get a good amount out of your kiln load that does fire well. So you have some work that either to sell or whatever your plans are, go to galleries. But then to keep your work moving forward, we always recommend testing.
Well, we've run enough glazes on this kiln by testing.
Oh,
you know, I
boy.
mean, it's just what you go through
Yeah.
because you're trying to balance out the glaze for a perfect melt.
Yep.
And thank God we've had advancer shelves.
Yep.
Because if we haven't had advancer shelves, for some reason electric glazes, they bite into the shelf even more than reduction glazes. For some
Yeah.
reason, you know why? Because they stay right on the top.
Ah, okay.
And if it hadn't been for these shelves, we had to grind them off every time. We finally reached a
Yep.
point
Yep.
where there's no runs.
Yep.
There is not a, you know,
Right.
thank God. I hate
So
grinding.
let's look at more details on the kiln, Tom. So
Okay.
this has, basically it's a brick kiln, and you see the elements here, and then fiber up at the top, and then the door has fiber on it.
right.
Yep.
No elements in the top, not necessary.
Okay,
Heat
yep.
goes up.
Yep, there are elements in the bottom of the kiln though.
Only
And
ti-
notice that we loaded that shelf down here. We used
1 inch, yep.
1 inch risers at the bottom. We also coated the bottom with
Kiln wash.
kiln wash
Yep.
just to protect
On
the
bricks,
brick.
yeah.
Yep. Also noticed that we didn't load it too close to the elements, right? So Tom, I think this is a 19-inch opening in the kiln or
These
width.
are 16 by 16
Yep.
shelves.
Yep.
That's the problem with a lot of hobby kilns. You know, people want to use all that space and they'll load things right against here and they can't, well, you know, it's just like a flame
Yeah.
because it'll wash away the glaze or make it run or change the surface of it.
Another thing about an electric kiln is because you have the heat radiating from the outside coming toward the center, it's pretty important to load things so that you have room in between so that the heat can move around and get into the center of the kiln.
Flash inside.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a little different. Like in reduction, we always load it as tight as possible, but in the electric, it's better to leave a little bit of opening around here and there so that the heat goes into the center.
That is the nice thing about the fan in an early period.
Mm-hmm.
Now this fan doesn't stay going the whole time. We've programmed it
Yep.
to where it gets hot enough. You don't need the fan.
Right.
Right. So the fan on certain segments shut itself off towards
Right.
the end, so
Right.
that the heat can
Yep.
really go faster.
Yep. The other thing we like is that there's 3 thermocouples
Yeah.
in this kiln. Yep. And so, and it's when it shows up on the actual Bartlett controller, it'll flash TC and then a temperature TC2. TC2 is actually the second thermocouple, which
Right.
is that one right in the midway
The
section of the
middle
kiln.
one.
Yeah, and so really it's taking the temperature of the middle of the kiln when it does its reading for you, TC2,
Right.
and it lets you know the temperature.
And the reason it does that, if it's too hot here,
Mm-hmm.
this will actually shut this area off till it catches up with.
That's really cool. So it keeps it balanced.
It keeps it balanced. These up
Nice.
here, if you look,
Yeah.
those are top, middle, and bottom
Yep.
cones. So that idea of shutting an area off for a period of time
Yeah,
makes it totally even.
Yeah.
And when you get, like a hobby kiln, you've got one thermocouple.
yeah, that's right.
Generally.
That's right.
And
Yep.
whatever's above and below that,
Yeah.
you can't control.
So one of the other things when you're looking at purchasing an electric kiln, I think it's really important to note that on like this front loader kiln, that's a Geil kiln, notice that it's narrow and tall. And there's a really good reason for that. When you have elements coming in from the sides and you have a really wide electric kiln, there's a really good chance you're not getting
In the
melt
middle,
in
not
the
at
middle
all.
of the kiln.
No.
Also with a top loader, those lids are difficult, especially when you go more wide
They start
with
warping.
it. They're warping. There's a lot of heat that can be lost in the lid, and that's just something that you really have to ask and investigate when you're looking at kilns. There's really a difference between the hobby kiln and an industrial made kiln.
The one thing
Right.
you don't want to do, and I'm guilty of it too, is to have a top loading kiln and to put fiber on top of the bricks.
Oh wow.
It burns the bricks.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah.
gets so hot between
Yeah.
the brick and the fiber,
Yeah.
it actually ruins the bricks
Yeah.
on top.
But we did find that we had a little bit more of a problem keeping the heat in the kiln with the top loader and that
Yes.
type of format.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's,
We lost a lot of heat in the top, you guys, of those kilns. So just something to consider, right, Tom, when you're going to purchase an electric kiln. And we love Cone 10 Electric as much as we do the reduction now. We're sold 100%.
The top loaders are being made less and less because in Europe, they've always done front loaders. And when you visit Europe, if you visit potteries in Europe,
Yeah.
they'll go, oh, you have that top thing, you're bent over.
Yeah.
You fall in the kiln. And they make fun of it.
Break the brick on
Yeah,
the
I'm
side of
going,
it. Yeah.
You're making fun of it? Yeah, we are. This is stupid. You open it, load it, and
Yep.
you're okay.
Hey, it's really just a matter too of, thinking ahead,
Well, this is the electric kiln of the future, a front loader at least.
Yeah, yep.
The one next, I got to point out one thing.
Okay.
Changing elements is really a son of a gun.
Yeah.
In any
Yeah.
kiln. This is so simple. I can't go around the back.
Right.
But you take the plate off the back.
Right.
The cover.
Yep.
And you unscrew
Yep.
the holders that these are plugged into.
Neat.
And you just pull both. There's two that come out
Okay.
the same.
Oh,
this.
neat, Tom.
Pull it out. You got
Okay.
your new one in the box.
Yep.
Shove
Slide it back
and
in.
Screw it in. That's
oh,
it.
that's so cool, man.
So you're
Okay.
not breaking all the brick trying to
Yeah.
get loose.
I think Paul said we'd get 60 firings maybe?
No,
or
we'll probably get 100,
100
maybe 100
firings?
out of these elements are really good ones. Now we didn't get the top end thermocouples. We just Paul had
Yeah.
this kiln ahead before we ordered it.
Yeah.
So these won't last as long as the K ones.
Thermocouples,
They'll last
yeah.
like 200
Oh, neat,
firings.
Tom.
So,
Okay, so
and that's
next
not
time
expensive.
we'll replace it with the K's next
and
time.
that's the same way.
Cool.
You just undo that, undo this
Yep.
little
Undo
cover
that
here.
panel right there.
And they pull
That's
it out.
great.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
awesome.
mean, it's the simplest kiln to work on.
Yep.
There's nothing, that's going to go wrong.
So our pots, when we loaded this thing, I mean, I even had refires, right? Where I dipped them in, fresh wet glaze. Anyway, we loaded it all up. But because of the fan and that program on that fan, it wicked all the moisture out of the kiln and no crawling.
Yeah.
Man, it's awesome.
You could actually feel the moisture coming out of this early
Yep.
on.
Yep.
Which most electric kilns you don't.
Right.
You know, what it is it's you know it's a chemical.
I'm gonna go
gas.
around the side of the kiln, Tom.
Chemical
Here,
water.
I just want to look at the fan, right? So
Well,
here's
this is the
your
way
fan.
I got it set up. You know,
Yep.
it's like a laundry vent.
Yep.
So it's not hot.
Nope.
It doesn't burn anything.
But that's where it's pulling all the moisture
Yep.
out of there.
And if you look underneath there,
that.
that's a healthy burner. That's really,
Yep.
I mean, a healthy
Oh, there
blower.
we go. Yep, there
It's
we
not
go.
some little hobby blower.
Yeah, nice. So, well, that's cool. Thank you, Tom. Right on.
Hey.
So we're going to be at Ensika in Salt Lake City this coming week.
Yeah, please come by
Yeah.
and talk to us.
Yep.
Because we're just there
Yep.
to talk, and you know I haven't been to an NSEAC in 5 years. A lot of my friends aren't around anymore, but I can't wait to go because I
Yep.
think it's going to be a good one.
Yep. It's
And,
great.
I don't think we'll have a kiln there.
No,
I don't
right.
think we're going to physically bring a kiln, but we're going to run so many videos
Yeah.
on the gas
Yes.
kilns
Yep.
and electric.
Yep. So we're
So-
excited, you guys. So we'll see you. I believe it starts March.
Wednesday, the next-
Wednesday,
yeah.
March 25th or
Yeah.
28th,
We have
something
to
like
set
that.
up on Tuesday and then open Wednesday.
March 26th. Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys there.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
All right. Take it easy.